Hello, hi, it's Henry the computer guy, and you're welcome to our lesson number 31. And in today's lesson, we are actually going to be talking about the text input devices. Remember, our topic is still computer hardware, and we say that these are specifically the physical or the tangible components of a computer. We also gave the categories of computer hardware, and we said we can have the input, we can have the processing, we can have the storage, we can have the output, we can also have the communication. But specifically, we say we are going to begin with what we call the input devices. And these help us to enter data into the computer for processing. We also went ahead and said that depending on the type of data they input, we can also group them, whereby we can have the text input devices, the pointing input devices, the gaming input devices, and others as we are going to be looking at them. So in today's lesson, we are beginning with only the text input devices. So they are telling us that text input devices, these ones help us to enter text or characters into the computer. And they're telling us that text is a general word for all characters such as letters, numerical digits, symbols, and marks that combine to form words, sentences, paragraphs, and documents, and so on. That means that it is a combination of all those ones that are on the keyboard. For example, the numbers, the symbols, the letters, they can form a word, they can form a sentence, and they can form a paragraph. They can form a page, and they can also form an entire document. So the devices that are used to enter those characters into the computer are the ones we refer to as the text input devices. Let's look at some of the examples of those devices. We have a keyboard. So we are actually going to talk about a little of them. So we have a keyboard, and it is an input device that contains buttons that are used to enter data or characters into the computer. For example, through typing. You need A, you type A. You need to use, let's say, the number pad, you type using the keyboard. Then we can have what we call the optical mark recognition reader. We can have the barcode readers. So we are going to be explaining a little of them. We have what we call the quick response code readers. These ones are somehow similar to what we call the barcode readers, but they are better than the barcode readers. I think you have ever used Xender to transfer a song to another person's phone. That code that you always scan with your camera is what we call the QRC code. Are we together? So it is far better than the barcode readers because for it can read the characters, it can read the alphabets, it can read the kanji. Kanji, these are just Japanese characters. That means that it's far better than what we call the barcode readers. Because the barcode readers read only the numbers which are contained in those bars of products that you have. We have what we call the optical character recognition readers. We have what we call the magnetic ink character readers. We have what we call the radio frequency identification readers. These ones can actually be attached to objects, and we track them using the radio frequency identification. It can be attached to a laptop, a book, such that if someone takes it away, you can even track the movement of that object. We have the voice recognition equipment. For example, these ones can transfer the speech into written text. They use what we call, for example, a microphone connected to a computer. You can use what we call voice recognition. Then it takes in what you say and type it onto a computer. Then we can have the magnetic strip card readers, etc. and others. So let's try to look at this diagrammatically and some little explanation about them. We have a keyboard. Everyone has seen a keyboard before. That device that has keys or buttons that are used to enter characters or information into the computer. It has many buttons, of which many of them can do different tasks. So what I'm going to do, or what I'm asking you to do, you can go and find out what all those buttons are used for. Because in the next lessons, we shall need to use a keyboard, or we are going to be using a keyboard. So you have to know what each and every button on your keyboard does. That is your own research. We have what we call a barcode reader. Remember, when you go to the supermarket, remember it is always self-service. You pick what you want, you take it to what we call the point of sale. That person who is seated there is going to get that product. Hovers a barcode reader, over that product. Then it will help that person to identify the price of the commodity. Remember, there are many products in that supermarket, so it is difficult for that person to cram all the prices. So what they do, they record the prices into the computer so they can use the barcode reader to identify those prices. Then we have what we call the optical mark reader or recognition reader. And this one specifically reads marks made by pencils or printed form into a computer. They are also suitable for reading checkboxes, multiple choice exam papers. For example, they can help a teacher to reduce the time he or she would have used when marking many answer scripts. He or she makes a master document, puts in the marks, then uses this device. So all the other sheets that are going to be passed through that device are going to be marked depending on the pattern of the master document. So it can reduce on all the time it would have used in marking all those scripts. Then we have the magnetic strip card reader. So those of you who don't actually want to move with physical cash, you need a credit card, you have it, you move with it, you can transfer money to any other account using the magnetic strip card reader. So you have a credit card, so it reads that line on the back of the card. Then a transaction can be made to any other account. Then we have what we call the magnetic ink character reader. What do these ones do? So this is used to read text printed with magnetized ink. They are mainly used by the banking industry for processing bank checks. Each check is inserted into the MICR reader, which sends the check information to the computer for processing. So you have taken, let's say, a check, they will pass it through that device, then it reads the information, sends it to the computer for processing your check. So they are mainly used in the banking industry. Then we come to what we call the quick response code readers. Remember, I told you if you have ever used the Xender to send a song to any other or send a picture to any other phone, they always bring you that code. For you to connect the devices, you scan that code. And even on your WhatsApp, you can even define or get the person's number by scanning their QR code. That's why it is always supposed to be kept personal. So you go over the internet, you see a product having it, scan that product, then they will give you the information concerning that product. Or nowadays, academic documents are actually having those quick response code. The information contained in that, for example, you have applied for that job. What they will do, they will ask you for your original document, they will ask you for that document and scan it. It will reveal the information that is concerning that script or transcript. So if it is not yours and you're faking it, all the information will be got when it is clearly elaborating that information or that person. So that one is called a QR reader. Remember, we said that it is far better than the barcode reader because it reads a variety of characters. It can be the numbers, alphabets, kanji. That is the Japanese characters. Then we have what we call the optical character recognition. What does this one do? It is specifically a technology that involves reading typewritten, printed or handwritten characters from ordinary documents and translate them into a form that the computer can understand. Remember, it is a character. The characters you have written, either they are on a paper, so they will convert them into the computer form that it can understand. We continue. We come to what we call the pointing input devices. What are pointing input devices? They're telling us that a pointing device is an input device which allows users to move a pointer and make selections on the screen. You want to make a selection on the screen, you'll use what we call a pointing input device. So let's look at some of the examples of these devices. We have a mouse. You want to select items, you can use it. It is that standard input device that can help us to make selections on the keyboard, on the screen. It has 3 buttons: the left, the scroll wheel, and the right button at times. Then we have the stylus pen and the tablet. That pen that is used to write on the tablet is what we call the stylus pen. You want to draw a picture, enter it into a computer, then you draw it onto your tablet, then connect it to the computer and transfer the picture there. Then we have what we call the cordless mouse. These are the wireless mouse. It is similar to a mouse, but for it is more flexible than the other one because it doesn't have a wire or a cable connected to it. We have a trackball, we have a touchpad, as we're going to be looking at them. We have a light pen. This one you can write onto those CRT sensitive monitors and draw an image or write using that pen, that light pen. Have a touch screen. Many of you have smartphones. That is what we refer to as a touch screen. We have a track point. This one specifically is used to move the pointer, and it is always in between the buttons onto your keyboard, between the G, the H. Okay, let's look at some of them. We have the mouse. We say that it is that input device that can actually help us to select items onto the screen. We have a trackball. It is an upside down mouse. It is always stationary. Instead of moving it all over the table, it is always supposed to be in one place. You move that ball on top and make selections to what you want. Put it to different locations, but for it is going to be stationary. We have a tablet, a digitizing tablet or graphics tablet, and a stylus pen. The stylus pen is the one that writes on the digitizing tablet. You want to draw an image, you can draw it using that stylus pen. Then we have what we call a touchpad. So if you're having a laptop, that part where you always touch and move the sensor or your mouse to different locations. So it senses the touch of someone trying to use the computer. So we call it a touchpad. Then we have a cordless mouse or the wireless mouse. We say that it is similar to the mouse, but for it has no cable. It uses what we call the infrared. You connect this something which is similar to USB, you connect it to your computer, then you can put batteries into this cordless mouse, then it will be controlled from a distance from your computer without a cable. Then we have what we call a track point. This is actually used to move the pointer onto the screen, and it is always in between the buttons which are the G, the H, and the B. Then we have what we call a touch screen. So this is actually an input and output. Actually, where we always enter the data from is where we actually view the data from. We make selections. You touch to images, you touch on characters, so it is what we call the touch screen. We continue. Let's talk about what we call the imaging input devices. And they're telling us that imaging input devices are devices that input images such as still photos, motion pictures, graphics, video, etc. into the computer for processing. You want to capture a video, you want to take a photo, something that is moving, something that is still not moving, you can use what we call the imaging input devices. We have examples of this. We have a scanner. A scanner is used to convert something into hard copy to soft copy. You need to transfer a document to, let's say, outside countries, but it is in hard copy. Use a scanner, convert it to soft copy, then you transfer the document. We have a digital camera, and we use this one specifically for taking photographs. We have a digital video camera, and this is specifically used for, let's say, recording videos and at the same time capturing photographs. It is far better than the digital camera. We have a camcorder. This is specifically a lightweight video camera that can store information, let's say, on a tape or a memory card. Then we have a webcam. It is that camera that is always attached on top of a monitor. For example, if you have a laptop, that camera in front of you, your laptop, that helps you to take, let's say, the images. Let's say you're using, let's say, online communication, Skype, zoom, it will take your pictures to the other side of a person for them to be able to see you. So we call that one a webcam. Let's look at them diagrammatically. So we have the imaging input devices, that is the digital video camera. You have seen it before. We have a webcam, it is always attached on top of your monitor. We have a digital camera for taking photographs. We have a scanner for converting as hard copy into a soft copy. We can have a camcorder, that lightweight video camera. Then we can have what we call the webcam. We have already seen that one. It can be either this one or this one. It depends on the one that you had bought. So thank you for watching. It's been Henry the Computer Guy, and actually if you're new to my channel, please click the subscription button, and you can also share the video or the link to your other friends and also advise them to subscribe. Bye bye. I sign out. See you in the next lesson.